The first time Elias heard the algorithm speak, he was 12, alone in his bedroom with headphones clamped over his ears like a helmet. The voice came not from the music but from the silence between tracks, soft, genderless, almost amused. "Play something I like, Elias." He laughed, thinking it was his imagination. Then the next song began exactly where the last one had left off in mood, tempo, key. A perfect handoff. He never touched the controls again that night. The playlist curated itself, and by morning he had forgotten what it felt like to choose. 23 years later, Elias Vale sat in a glass-walled studio overlooking the Los Angeles riverbed, dry concrete painted with murals no one stopped to read. He wore the same headphones, now wireless, now worth more than the first car he ever owned. On the screen in front of him glowed a single waveform, 3 minutes 11 seconds. The hook arrived at 0:09. The drop at 1:47. The final chorus faded at 2:58. Perfect. His producer, a woman named Juno who had once played cello in the Philharmonic, leaned over his shoulder. "Spotify's skipping anything past the 30-second mark," she said. "We lose them at 28 if the vocal isn't up front." Elias nodded. He had stopped arguing months ago. The song, Neon Heartbreak No. 4, was already climbing the internal charts. It would be on every Sad Boy Hours playlist by midnight. He would earn another platinum certification he didn't hang on the wall. His mother would text a heart emoji from Ohio. But something gnawed at the edges of the waveform, a faint distortion no one else seemed to hear. When he isolated it, the sound resolved into a single word, repeated like a skipped record. Choose. That night he dreamed of vinyl. Not the collectible kind sold in Urban Outfitters, but the real thing, black, heavy, imperfect. In the dream he placed the needle down and the room filled with a chord progression he had never written. IVVIEVI, suspended, unresolved. A voice, not auto-tuned, sang a line he couldn't quite catch. When he woke, the melody was gone, but the ache remained. He opened his laptop and did something he hadn't done in years. He searched for an album. Not a single, not a playlist. An album. The word felt antique on his tongue. The algorithm, ever helpful, suggested Neon Heartbreak #1-3, Deluxe. He closed the tab. Instead he typed the name Rick Beato. He had watched the man's videos in college, dissections of Steely Dan solos, explanations of why Radiohead's time signatures made mathematicians weep. Beato had uploaded something new the day before. The thumbnail showed a cracked vinyl record. The title, "The Real Reason Why Music Is Getting Worse." Elias clicked. 43 minutes later he was pacing. Beato's voice, calm, relentless, laid out the autopsy of an industry. Albums dead. Dynamics crushed. Hooks engineered like slot machines. Playlists as gatekeepers. And, beneath it all, the quiet accusation, "You helped build this." Elias stopped pacing. He opened his door. Deleted Neon Heartbreak No. 4. The waveform vanished with a soft whoosh, like a soul leaving a body. Juno found him at 3 a.m. staring at a blank session. "We're supposed to deliver the single tomorrow," she said. "I'm starting over." "With what?" "An album." She laughed, not unkindly. "Labels don't fund albums anymore, Eli. You know that." "Then I'll fund it myself." "With what money?" He didn't answer. He was already sketching. 12 tracks. No skips. No drops. Real drums. Recorded in a room with air. A string quartet. A B-side in 7/8 time. He titled the project Static Between Stations. The next weeks were war. His manager scheduled emergency meetings. "You're tanking your quarterly streams." Labels threatened to pull advances. "We invested in a brand, not a nostalgia trip." Fans on social media, confused, then angry, posted memes. Elias Vale discovers 1973, more at 11. But something else happened. In the comments of Beato's video, a thread grew. Musicians, engineers, bedroom producers, thousands of them, shared their own abandoned albums. Links to Bandcamp pages, Dropbox folders. One kid in Jakarta uploaded a 19-minute prog suite played entirely on gamelan and distorted Game Boys. It had 47 plays. Elias listened to all of it. He started a private Discord. Invited Juno. Invited the kid from Jakarta. Invited a jazz trumpeter from New Orleans who still pressed CDs in her garage. They called themselves the Static Collective. They set one rule: no algorithms allowed. No A/B testing. No focus groups. No skip rate metrics. Just music. The first static session happened in an abandoned church in Echo Park. 47 people showed up with instruments, cables, dreams. They recorded for 14 hours straight. No click track, no auto-tune. When the power cut out at 2 a.m., they kept playing by candlelight. The trumpet player cried during her solo. No one told her to do it again. Elias mixed the tracks in his apartment, headphones off, monitors bleeding into the night. He left mistakes in. A chair creak, a cough, the moment the bassist's strings snapped. And he laughed mid-phrase. He pressed 500 vinyl copies. Black, heavy, imperfect. The release show was in the same church. No guest list. No VIP. Just a suggested donation jar for the food bank. 300 people came. Some had driven from Arizona. One flew in from Scotland. Elias took the stage alone first. No backing track. No light show. Just a guitar and a voice that cracked on the high notes. "This first song," he said, "is called Choose." He played the chord progression from his dream. IVV. Suspended. Unresolved. The room held its breath when the final note rang out. No one clapped for a full 5 seconds. Then the trumpet player stood and answered with a phrase of her own. The bassist joined. The gamelan kid layered bells. 47 musicians became one organism. They played the entire album. 58 minutes. No one checked their phone. Afterward, in the candlelit nave, a girl approached Elias. Maybe 19. Purple hair. Eyes like she'd seen ghosts. "I used to make music," she said. "Then I read the analytics. Said my intros were too slow. My bridges confused the model. I deleted everything." She held out a flash drive. "It's not good, but it's mine." He took it. That night he listened. Bedroom pop with lopsided drums and lyrics about grocery store fluorescent lights. At the 4:12 mark, far beyond the algorithm's mercy, she whispered, "I'm still here." He cried. Then he invited her to the next session. Word spread, not through playlists, not through ads, through whispers, through burned CDs passed in high school parking lots, through grandmothers mailing mixtapes to grandchildren, through a truck driver in Nebraska who played static between stations on repeat until the cassette wore thin. The major platforms noticed. Spotify's editorial team reached out. "We'd love to feature the lead single on Fresh Finds. Just needs a radio edit under 3 minutes." Elias wrote back, "The album is the single." They didn't understand. Streams flatlined. Chart positions evaporated. His verified account lost followers by the thousands. But the vinyl sold out in 9 days. The second pressing, 1,000 copies, gone in 4. People started hosting listening parties in living rooms, record stores, dive bars. No phones allowed. Just speakers and bodies and the crackle of surface noise. One night in Detroit, a DJ played Static at a warehouse rave. The floor was packed with kids in LED masks. At the 7:30 mark of the final track, an ambient piece built on field recordings of rain, the power cut. The masks went dark. For 30 seconds, 800 people stood in silence. Then someone started humming the trumpet line. Another joined. Then the whole room. No beat, no drop, just voices carrying a melody through the dark. When the lights came back, the DJ didn't restart the set. He bowed. The crowd left quietly, coats over shoulders, humming still. Elias read about it the next morning on a blog with 200 subscribers. The writer titled it "The Night the Algorithm Blinked." He closed the laptop, looked out his window. The city was waking. Delivery trucks, coffee carts, billboards, cycling ads for the next viral hit. He opened his door. A new session. Blank. This time he didn't sketch. He just hit record. Outside, a busker played saxophone on the corner. Real notes. Real air. Real wrong notes that somehow sounded right. Elias smiled. He left the window open. Let the city leak in. The waveform grew, messy and alive. Somewhere in the code, the algorithm whispered again. Play something I like, Elias. He didn't answer. He was too busy listening to the sound of a world remembering how to choose.